Okay, then. So I decided the best thing for me to do, rather than putting up the whole, I don't know, like 30 or more of these blackjack sessions that I've recorded and have not run through the editor yet, I thought probably the smartest thing for me to do is to use the editor and post the worst of the sessions that I encountered, and this was an absolute doozy. It was number 8, and I think I'm now at either 41 or 42. But the final win was 10,675, as you can see from the line at the bottom there. And I think it took 5 shoes, 5 gags, which is get up and go. Excuse me, I was struggling a bit with my throat, so I just had to make a noise that you would not have enjoyed. Yeah, so there were 5 shoes, and I finally got to the end of it. And what I haven't done yet is run this lot through Excel, and I will do that before I actually post it and before I run it through the editor. But it was a perfect example of how you have to have the weaponry, you've got to have the firepower to take you through the crap, because there is always crap with these games. It's never going to go away. And the only way you can beat it is to be properly armed, like in thigh boots with a bazooka. I mean, it's ridiculous that people go to these tables expecting to win long term with a tiny bankroll. It's just ludicrous. And of course, the theme that runs through all of the professional loser channels that you see on YouTube, the theme that runs through all of them is they play like prats because they know that they're going to collect their losses back one way or another. Now, I'm going to sort of generously assume that they don't get any money back from the casinos, although we know that some of them get promotional chips, and other times they get rebates. They, like Matt takes his valuable player card, which he is constantly promoting, sticks it in a machine, and the machine says you have credit of $1,200 or whatever. But I'm going to assume generously that they don't get any money back from the casinos, and therefore their entire source of income is other places like Google, like selling cheap, shitty merchandise for very high prices, and also occasional sponsorships here and there, and of course the usefulness of what the hell do they used to call it in my Nevada days? RFB, room, food, and beverage, free, covered, comped. And it's just, to me, it's just wrong that these guys are promoting gambling the way that they do without telling the truth about their losses. And we know they don't tell the truth, even though Vegas Matt has a little counter on his description every day saying this is where we're at this time of the year, etc., etc. I know that's not accurate. I know it's not accurate. It's an attempt towards accuracy, but it doesn't cover the off-camera sessions that they play. It doesn't cover a lot of stuff that's going on. So it's just not fair. That's the way I feel about it anyway. So let's just I've got this on silent mode, and right now it's just running through the media player, and I'm hoping it's going to work, but it doesn't seem to want to. Let's give it another try. Yeah, I speeded it up, but obviously not enough. Yeah, I think you just better take it from me that because by the time I got to the end, I had 225,000 on this shoe, and adding up the sort of the remnants from the prior shoes. Because when I'm in a situation where I decide to bail out of a shoe, but I got 50,000 in the chip pile there, and I owe 100,000 in a marker, then what I do is I just take the 50,000 as a credit, the 100,000 marker as a debit, obviously, and then I add it all up, do the sums, No more in my head. Once upon a time I could do them in my head, but I certainly can't anymore. Um, well, I don't know what's going on here. We seem to be back to playing at Diddy Diddy bets, so that doesn't make sense. I think it's reverted to the beginning of this video, which is infuriating, but never mind. Um, I don't know if I can go to the end or not. I'm learning stuff, you know. Learning, learning, learning. Oh, this is where I did my sums and I got into a terrible mess. But you know, the one thing I can absolutely promise you is that I'm doing my best to be as transparent and accurate as I possibly can. See, I've got a figure there of 523,000. I thought, oh, that doesn't sound right. So I did it again, and then I came out with 436.75, and concluded that yeah, there we go, and there's the very end where I'm at 225,000. So I owe 100,000 on this shoe, and then the balance, the 125,000, is added along with all the other stuff, and we end up with, as you can see down the bottom here, a profit of 10,675. But this, you know, this is the shoe that's coming up here, and then there'll be another difficult one, which will be included in this same presentation, in this same demo. And you know, it's like I always say, make of it what you want. You know, I mean, you know, decide that I'm a complete lunatic and I'm lying and I'm crooking everything. That's fine. I really don't care. But if there are a handful of people out there who actually get some value out of what I'm doing here, then I'll be more than happy, because the casinos have it too easy, and the worst thing is, easy as it is for them, they are constantly coming up with new ways to screw us. You know, like double down madness, like free bet blackjack, like commission free baccarat. They're just not happy with being fat cats. They want to be fatter cats. And all right, you might say, well, that's just business. Well, it's not good enough, because the casino business is a business, the gambling, the organized, the legalized gambling, organized gambling. Sorry, that was a Freudian slip. Legalized gambling is to the detriment of every economy in which it is a major factor. And that includes pretty much every Western country, several Eastern countries where they're smart enough to say, okay, the idiots from abroad are very welcome to come over here and waste their bloody money and throw it at us, but our local people are not allowed to gamble. We're not having that. We're not having people that we care about getting ripped off. So there you have it. Anyway, I'm done for now, and I will catch you later. All right, then. This is the 8th session today, Sunday, the 20th of June. You can see from the timer that they're pretty much consecutive. There's a little gap in between here and there, you know, while I do things like, oh, I don't know, go out and buy my paper and walk the dog around the block and make coffee and have a bacon roll up and stuff like that. So we're looking very good. We've got an hour and 45 minutes in the tank. Most important, we've got 36,500 so far today in an hour and 45 minutes. So I think that probably what I'm going to aim to do from now on is just do demos like this and put them up on the Practice Makes Profit site with a little bit of narration, added narration, and all the rest of it. But 2 hours is enough, I think, for any strategy. And I'll put in chapter markers as well. But I am a little tired, I must admit, after nearly 100 of them, of the Don't Bend Over series. So, you know, this is just a simplification of life. That's basically what it's about. Anyway, on we go. Number 8. Ho ho! Fight and talk. I wasn't going to say anything until I was absolutely sure. I thought he might pull another 21 there. That's got to be a repeat, I think. Okay, 51. Okay, 2, 3. Uh-huh. 5, 6. Bugger. 11, 6. See, as soon as the down gets into four figures, then I'd go into the drop zone. So 11, 6, drop to 3. 14, 6. Ah. Um, 17, 6. That was a wash. So we lost this one. 17, 6. Ooh. 14, 6. He lost one. He's just got 3 back there. 14, 6. So now it's 20, 12. Oh, I like that. So that gave us back 18. So now we're going 2, 3. Bugger. 5, 6. Yeah, I could see that one wasn't going to make it. Ah. Oh, we were lucky there. All right, we didn't make much for quite a lot of money laid out, but we're ahead. That's what counts. That's what we're here for. Plus 1. That's a bugger, isn't it? 51. 2, 3. I'd have been happier if that hadn't happened. 5, 6. We're going there again. Or maybe not. Thank you. Okay, back to the minimum. I can't overstress the need to go back to the minimum. It is so vital. You watch these professional losers on YouTube and they just keep on, they just keep pushing, pressing. The ones that do bother to press, they don't pay attention to their loss to date. They don't care. They've forgotten that. It's past. They've had their money from Google. They're doing fine. They've had their sort of promotional chips back from the casino. They've had their free dinners, free rooms, free God knows what. So they're just starting afresh every time. And that's a big mistake. You need to know how deep you're in. Well, it's Vegas Matt and Co. call it innage and winnage. I prefer downage and outage myself. There we are. Oh, that was just bloody rude. Completely unnecessary. That's more like it. Damn it. Gracious me. Oh, I like the dealer 22s. I should be screen snapping those, but it's not real money. That's the thing, So, all right, 51. And repeat it. And the reason for the repeat is quite simply that the turnaround win is not 100 when you win that bet. And once you're betting 100 or more, then I insist, this is not my thing, I insist on a turnaround win of at least 100 once I'm betting in hundreds. If I'm betting in quarters, so that's 25 or 50, then I'll accept 75. But once I'm in hundreds, you've got to pay me a little bit more before I fall back to the minimum. Oh, that was a beat, wasn't it? 1, 2. Oh dear. 1, 2, 5, 6. Again. 11, 6. Drop. Again. 14, 6. I don't believe it. I do believe it. I just saw it. Ah! What? Jesus. 17, 6. We're going to be running away again in a minute, I think. Okay, so 17, 6. So 14, 6 is where we're at. That's a bugger, isn't it? Well, we can't go 14, 15 because that's too big a jump. So we're stuck with 14, 6, I'm afraid. 14, 6, so that's 20, 26. So basically that's 3, 3 for the turnaround. And we'll run away if we don't get it. Well, or if we lose it, that's what I meant to say. Okay, 3, 3 it remains. Okay, so now we're on 6, 3, so we're going to run away from this one. 6, 3 times 1,000 minus 100k over there, and plus 95, 300 here, so we're minus 4,700. And bear with me while I walk to another table. Okay, so don't forget, the cards don't care about how much we're betting. Nobody cares except us. And maybe as a paranoid pit boss, of whom there are many. In fact, I think every blackjack pit boss is paranoid. That's been my experience. Anyway, 6, 3 times 1,000. So the drop, technically it should be 1,500, but I'm just going to make it 1,000 for ease. So 6, 3 and the drop is 1. Okay, so 5, 3 is the bet. 8, 6. That's bad news. Oh, I like that. Oh no! Oh God, you can't. Oh, sorry. I'm allowed to get emotional, even if it's not money. I mean, it's just so fucking frustrating. Did I say 8, 6? And it just looked like it was in the bag, didn't it? Now we need a natural, okay? It's the best that you can. It's your duty. Do you hear that, wizard? Oh, the hell with you. Okay, so now we're on 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 5, 6. Damn it. There we go. All right, so we're at 107,000 over here. So we've made 7,000. We've got a debt to pay over at the other shoe of 4,700. So we're 2,300 ahead, and we're dropping back to the minimum. Somebody's always going to say, but you couldn't do that at the same table. It doesn't matter, for God's sake. I mean, we're not interested in shuffles and penetration and burns and, I don't know, chicken entrails and all that shit. All we care about is patterns. And it just makes it easier for me if I don't have to keep on firing up new shoes, all right? So right now we're a little bit ahead. We've got, never forget, we've got 4,700, a marker that we've got to pay off eventually, but we're not there yet. Yeah, that was never going to fly, was it? That's double for the loss. And that's 1, 2. All right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. What's the matter with me? 3, 4. Oh, damn it. 3, 5. Okay, that's how it has to be. Okay. Didn't make much on that, but I did make a mistake. I'm very sorry. I do that, you know. It happens. Sometimes it costs me a bloody fortune, and sometimes I get away with it. +1. That was a fluky one, and I was just waiting for the 5 to drop up there. Plus another one. Oh. Okay, so that's 2, 3. 5, 6. Uh-huh. Well, it's against a 6 at least. That's something. Oh, well, load of cobblers. Oh, we made some money there then, didn't we? All right. Back to the min. Yeah, and anybody who wants to seriously suggest that this sim is not the same as the real thing, just show me a screen recording of you beating the crap out of it, betting your stupid method. Well, I say that largely because the sort of people who challenge me are not the kind of people who actually have any method at all. They're mostly people who are in the casino business, and then they're paid to attack anybody who comes up with a heretical notion that these games can be thrashed, which they can, but not without progressive betting and not without a very big bankroll. Okay, so that's 51. Okay, that's a repeat. And that's a double for the push. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Eh? 5, 6. But this wizard is incredibly lucky, isn't he? 5, 6. All right, 11, 6. Drop. Might be running away from this one soon. All right, so that got us 4 back. So that's 7, 6. I had high hopes for that. 7, 6, 13, 12. I don't believe it. So we'll make it 13, 15 for the push. Oh dear. All right, so let me see, 28. 13, 15, so it's 28, 30. I think I'll make the 28, 30 bet. Shouldn't have bothered, should I? No. 28, 30, so we're on 6, 3 again. I'm gonna jump again. We've got 102, 375 over here. We've got 6, 3 times 1k and minus 100. You know, sometimes you've got to work. This is just how it is. Sometimes you've got to work for your bread and butter. So pause while I walk to another table. All right, so 6, 3 it is, and I'm going to do as I did before and drop to 1,000. So the drop bet is 1,000. 7, 3. 8, 3. Can't do anything, can we? 9, 3. What? 8-3 is the bet. Oh, how many times has this arsehole, but he pushed us at 21? Did I say 8-3 was the bet? Well, we can't make it 8-9 because that's too high a leap. So 8-3 is the bet. And now 5-6 is the turnaround. That would have been nice. Ah, dear. 11-12, that was rotten. Oh, can you believe that? Um, I think I'm going to go for 23-25. And then I'm going to be running away again. Christ! 23-25. So that's 48. 48. Well, we'll call it 48-25 because I will be stepping back. So minus 100k over there, plus 58,000 is minus 42,000. This is a real shitty pile of garbage. But we got to persevere because it's a perfect demonstration of how and why this strategy works, right? Okay, so we're taking a walk again. All right, so now the bet is 48-25. This is ridiculous. So the drop bet is 10,000. 58-25. This is nervous laughter, okay? 68-25. 78-25. 88-25. 98-25. It's unbelievable. 108-25. All right, so we got 15 back there, so that's 93-25. That would have been nice. 93-25, so that's 98, 118. So we'll call it 120-50. Eh? Oh, right. Okay. Can't do that. Got to run away from here. 120-50. To make the bet, I've got to go. So at minus 70,000 here, minus 100k over there. So to make the bet, I have to run away again. Okay, so we've got to the point where we're going to run into the max, which is 100,000. So I said 100. Did I say 120-50? I think I did. I just very carefully wrote everything down, except the bloody down and out. I think it's 120. I'm going to call it 125-50 just to be on the safe side. And remember, I can't make very many bets at this rate. Okay, so basically now we've got to bet 75-80, haven't we? This is our turnaround. Maybe. Doesn't look good. Okay, so again. Now, I don't quite know the most sensible way to do this because I can't make the bets I need to make. So 75, 80, that's 155. 155, 80. But if I come back down to, sorry, I'm thinking aloud now because I've really got no choice because it's a bugger when the 100,000 thing comes in. You know, it's a real problem. And I know that there's loads of you out there are sort of saying, well, that's ridiculous. Nobody can afford to bet like that. But this is a business situation. It's not fun and games. It's not excitement. It's not adrenaline. It is a business proposition like the stock market, like any market, you know. And so it has to be played, the business has to be run with precision and care and so on. So 125.50. Now, if I call it, if I say, okay, drop zone, then I'm looking at 50 as being the drop. So we'll do that. Well, that is a big help, actually. So 125.50. So now we've come down to 50. 120, we just 175, right? 100. So now we're on 50-50, I think. But I'm going to stop for a moment and just catch up with my arithmetic because I'm completely bamboozled here. I'd be much better, obviously, if I weren't nattering all the time. So just bear with me, okay? All right, so I've decided that the most transparent thing that I can do is to do the sums right here. All right, so we've got 145,000 over there, right? And then we add 30,000 from the last shoe. And then we add 58,000 from the shoe before that. And then we add 102,375 from the shoe before that. And then we add 95,300 from the first shoe. Oh, fuck. Sorry. I think I can cancel the last entry. I'm not sure. 95,300. No, I've done something absolutely stupid here. I'm going to have to edit this nonsense out, aren't I? Okay, so you're going to see a little bit of an edit there because I just completely fucked up. Okay, so 95,300 from the first shoe, 102,375 from the second shoe. What is going on? It's gone nuts. Okay. And then 58,000 from the next shoe. And then 30,000 from the next shoe. And then 145,000. I think we're finally at 523,000. And we owe 500,000. So I think we've come out of it. I'm going to have to do that again. Okay. That's That's what we've got right there, right? Against which we owe a marker of 100,000. And then the last one was 30. 1, 2, 3. And then the one before that was 58,000. And the one before that was 102,375. And then the one before that was 95,300. Okay, so we are actually 70,000 down. So what I need to do is count us as so we're at 70,000 in the hole still. And so I have got to bet I think I'm going to have to bet 80,000. This is our turnaround. Maybe. No, it's not. Maybe. Oh, shit. Don't you hate that? And we just came out with money, 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 money. And, you know, I mean, I know there's loads of people out there are going to look at this and say, oh, it's you girls. But the whole thing with this game is, look at it from the casino's point of view, okay? The casino will watch somebody winning an enormous amount of money, and they will just sort of like, you know, they'll pay attention, but they'll know, well, you know, knowing gambler psychology the way they do and knowing the way the odds are in their favor and blah-de-blah-de-blah. You know, they know that if somebody comes in and they win a ton of money, then their whole style of betting changes and their attitude changes. And they get stupid and they get relaxed and they get sort of just too greedy. That's the worst of it, you know. And in the end, the money comes back to them. That's the way the casinos have to think. It's the way they function. It's their whole business plan, if you like, right? So that's exactly how it is. And so here we've got 125,000 ahead. But I've taken into account the 500,000 and all the rest of it, and you're very welcome to do the sums yourself if you like. I'm going to put them to one side on the edit so that you can see all of them on the right there. And just trust me. I mean, we know we haven't come out with a huge amount of money, but we beat the bastards. That's what matters, okay? So I'm going to have to stop and do my sums again. But I think we've come out, I don't know, decently ahead. And I'll update you when I get to the edit. Cheers. Okay, so I'm about to give you the nitty gritty, the bottom line, the awful truth, whatever, about Whiz BJ number 8, the 8th session in the current series of blackjack demos. But I thought before I did that, it's really hot in the UK right now, and the nights are absolutely horrible because it's very humid here, and temperatures last night were about 90 degrees. Very unusual. This global warming thing that President Trump promises us is just a fake news, just a hoax. The weather in the UK doesn't seem to have got the memo, but I'm sure it will eventually, because President Trump is a very powerful force in the world of truth, as we all know. Anyway, as I was lying there trying to get to sleep, I thought, where does that expression reversing the tables comes from? Because obviously that's what I've been working to do against the casinos for as long as I can remember, reversing the table games, turning things around, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, apparently it's an expression that comes from the 17th century, around 1612. It turned up in a play, and it's all about, well, as you can see here, in its literal meaning, the phrase referred to the position, blah, 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 blah. You can read, right? And Oxford, OED, of course, is the Oxford English Dictionary. But But yes, that's exactly what I'm all about, what this whole thing is all about. So anyway, let's get rid of that. And this is what you're looking at. It's horrendous. It should never have happened. It need never to have happened, because I should have taken the money and run when I got to a profit of 3,000 inside about 10 minutes. I didn't. So speculating about that is meaningless. I screwed up. I got myself into deep shit. You will do the same if you decide to stop losing and to give the casinos a run for their money, whether they're bricks and mortar casinos or online or whatever. But anyway, let's have a look. A win of 10,675. Action, huge action. Look at this. I mean, sort of dropping all the way down to here from where was our high point? It was up here somewhere, isn't it? 150,000. So, you can see what happened. We managed to, in the end, pattern betting, managed to salvage a win that was 2% of action. The actual house advantage for that whole horror story, minus 21.3% to the player. In other words, the house had an advantage about 40 times expectation for blackjack. Something to think about, indicated action here simply means if you take my total action and multiply it by the percentage of the house edge, you would get an indicated result of a loss of 115,141. That did not happen, and that's where turning the tables comes in, right? Average win, just huge bets here. Average win 9,000, average loss 5,000, 27 wins, 48 losses. Ugh. Terrible. Exposure was higher than I said in the demo, because I didn't factor in the next bet, and you must do that because that's exposure. Okay, if you're down $150,000 and your next bet is 50,000, then when you push that 50,000 on the table, it doesn't matter that you won the bet; it is still exposure. So you have to take the exposure of 150,000, add the next bet. So that gives us exposure here of nearly 200,000. End of the day, we won 10,675. That's a 5.4% return, right? Now, for a gambler, this is ridiculous. It doesn't bear thinking about. It's completely irrelevant to the way that he or she plays. For the gambler, going in with a minimal bankroll, certainly less than $10,000, and even if it was Mr. Handpay level, with I think the highest I've ever seen him go in with is 30,000, maybe 50. Either way, not enough money, people, because of the volatility of this game in particular, and they're all volatile in their different ways. But blackjack is a lower house advantage at less than 1%. But by golly, it can get weird. So anyway, half an hour. Okay, we lent the casino $200,000, right? At the end of the day, the casino gave us back. Well, at the end of the day, at the end of 30 minutes, the casino handed us back 210,000, near enough. So that's a 5.4% return on our investment. Well, that's another way of describing risk, right? A 5.4% return in half an hour. See if you can match that anywhere else, folks. I mean, go to, well, maybe you can do it in day trading or whatever, but you're gonna take a lot in the shorts as well as winning. But anyway, that's the story, basically. There we are. we are looking at a 5.4% return on our total exposure in 30 minutes or less. It was a horror story. It was a roller coaster ride. It was, I mean, look at this red line here. This is how the house had us by the short and curlies. Down to here, ooh, a big bump. A little sort of up and down thing, and then a little bit of a bump. You can see right there, you know. So it was a really tough ride. And at the end of the day, or at the end of the session, well, I've got to stop saying end of the day because it was very brief. 21% against us, and we turned the tables. So it's not going to come back. No. Okay, there it is. Yeah, okay. Reversing one's position relative to someone else, turning a position of disadvantage into one of advantage to cause a complete reversal to the state of affairs. I think, you know, that's pretty much what happened here. And like I always say, you know, you can make of it what you like, but I'm just trying to get across to as many people as I can reach the simple truth that if you go into these games ill-prepared, mentally, and more importantly, fiscally, money-wise, cash-wise, bankroll-wise, then you are going to get your ass kicked. And that's how they build the casinos, okay? So let's have a look down here. We see lots of turnarounds, but by golly, look at that last one. I mean, it was horrible. Horrible. But there we have it. Oh, and I see what happened here. It says okay here, and that's not actually true because I don't like 75. Once the bet is 100, I won't accept 75 as a win, so I would have bet that and then gone on and so on. But these are the details that the vast majority of gamblers simply couldn't give a shit about. But this is where the rubber meets the road, as they say. And, you know, we're soldiering on. That's the most important thing, isn't it? Anyway, I'll see you later. Hey, damn. Anyway, there we are. So we move forward with number flippity of whatever this is. So far we've made the last two. 41 was 4,575. 42 was 4,737. So that's 9,300 approx. Yeah, 9,300 approximately since I sat down to sit in this warm draft. Oh, look at you, you show off. Honestly, that's just nasty. Okay, is that how it's going to be, this shoe? Is this going to be a runaway? Okay, 2, 3. Damn. 5, 6. What happened? We'll split those then, haven't we? Oh boy. Oh boy. That is a disaster. 5, 6, 4 times. That is just horrible. It's kind of thing that can happen to you, though, isn't it? So we just lost 24. So that's we're going to have to call it 3, 3.5, and then I'm going to run away from this shoe. Oh my God. Oh no, look at this. Okay, so extreme nasties. 3, I've been looking forward to one of these actually. 3, 3.5. So that's 10, 7. 10, 7 times 1,000 minus 100k, 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 plus 9175 over here. So on this shoe we are minus 9725. All right, so a touch of the old magic here. All right, so this is where I repeat the lecture. The cards are not affected by big bets. The odds, the possibilities, the potential, the prospects, the nothing changes except, of course, the rate of my heartbeat, the concern that the pit boss has because he's suddenly thinking, bloody hell. Anyway, we're at 10.7 in thousands, so the drop is 2, which is 1/5 of the 10, the down. Okay, so 10.7. Not looking good, is it? Oh, it looks better now. Okay, so the drop was 2, so now we're on 8.7. That doesn't look good. Okay. 15.15 makes sense to me. Aha. Okay. I think I'd better go 30.30 before I run away from this one. Oh, no. All right, well, here's the situation. We've made 10,000 here. I've miscalculated, which I do from time to time, because what we owe from the last shoe is 9,725. So I think I'm going to need to bet 1,000 here. We're only 5 minutes in, but it's 1,000. Okay. All right, we're going to have to settle for that. Okay, so we've got just over 1,000 in profit, a very high risk. But that's the game, people. You just cannot beat these games unless you have money and a plan. A plan alone is not enough. Money alone is not enough. Ask Dana White. But I 51. Oops. 51. Double down. I say, don't you dare. All right. Minimum. Ooh, rudeness. No, he is allowed to win once in a while. Just once in a while. Repeat. Double. 22s are good up there. I really like 22s. Fond of them. In love with them, actually. Okay, that's a plus, I think. Didn't look like a possibility, but it happened. Oh! That's very clever. That's a 1-2. That's a 3-4. All right. Not making much money here, but we're not losing money. That's the main thing, don't you think? +1. +1. That was a lucky one. +1. Wowzer. Ridiculous. Double for the push. Okay, minimum. That was really quite splendid. +1. Bunker. 1-2. Oh, 3-4. 1-2-3. Oops. All right, 3-5 then. I don't care. That was nasty. Okay, so that's 13-10. So that's 3. Drop is 3. Yeah. Okay, so 10-10. That's close enough. There we are. Okay. Back to always annoying that, isn't it? Oh, I gave him the hand too, didn't I? Well, I'd have lost either way. If he'd got the 6, then he would have ended up with 18. As it is, he made a point. 3-4. Oh, nice. Thank you, Wiz. Uh, 51. What a mess. Oh, 3-4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another double. That's a bitch. That's a bitch. Oh, boy. Okay, so that's 11-8. Drop again. 14-8. 11-8. 3-4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like it. Okay, so we've got 12,400 here. We're not doing very well. We've got nearly 10,000 that we owe on the first one, but the first one beat us up. So, you've got to just consider what your priorities are. And that is that here we are. We've got a positive result. And that's important. And our rate of cash production is not terrible, as long as we can keep it up. Okay, 51. 2, 3. 5, 6. We're on a long grass trip again, I think. 11-6. Drop. Oh, 14-6. 11-6 is the bet. That's a double. Oh dear. 11-6. 23-12. That's 2.5, 1.5. Ah! 4-3. This is just nasty. Look at that. 7-6. I'm running away from this one now. 7-6 times 1,000 minus 100k, and over here we've got plus 105, 675. So this is making this work this time, isn't it? 7-6. That sounds right. Yeah. Okay. So here we go. I'm just gonna do the thing. All right. Like I always say, the cards do not know or care what the bet is. So we're on 7-6, and the drop is 2. Oh shit. 9-6. All right, 7-6. Bugger. 13-12. Oh dear. Long grass. Did I say 11-12? 13-12. 13-12. So that's 25. I think we're going to have to make it 25-30 and then run away. That's what I feel. Ah! Okay. 25, so we got 50 here. 25-30, 25-30, 85-30. This is one of the worst we've had in a long time. 85-30. And we've got 52,000 over here. And minus 100k over there. Damn! I wasn't expecting this. Pause for a moment. Can we get out of this? Can we? Okay. 85-30. So basically the down is going to have to be 20. That's not looking good, is it? That's 105-30. What? 135-30. We got one bet left in here. Well, we can't double. Yes, we can double. 135-30. Okay. Well, we are really getting kicked in the teeth, aren't we? 135-30. So that is... We just lost 60. What did we lose? No, we just lost 40. 100. Damn! I'm not sure where I am now. It's like 175. Uh, 175. I admit I am losing this one. Um, Not losing it. I mean, what I mean is I am losing the numbers. So I have to do the magic again. All right, so there's no doubt I got myself into a right pickle here. We have total pluses from the various leftovers as we moved from shoe to shoe of 267,850, and we have markers of 400k. And then, of course, we've got a new marker over here, but we've got 100,000 against that because we haven't started betting yet. By my calculation, um, the bet is 175.30, and the drop before was 20,000. Now moving into a new environment, I've got to make a drop which is, I think, 35,000 is the reduced bet. So it's higher than the original. But I got to do a drop of 35,000 and see how we get on with that. This is not good because I'm stuck at 100,000, which of course your Dana Whites and your the rest of those flashy buggers do not have to worry about. But let's see what we can do anyway. So 175.30, drop 35. Oh boy. Oh dear. All right. So that made us 70. So now we're on 130, but obviously the bet has got to be what I just made it. So we've got to bet 35 again. Well, that bloody knocked us about, didn't it? So 105, so that's 140, 70 is the bet. Damn it. 140, 70. Okay. So now we're going to bet. Let me think about this. We've got 105 here. So 70, 75 should do it. I'm going to give that a go. Damn it. Well, we came out of it alive. I'm going to have to calculate now exactly where I'm at because that was a bloody mess. But it at least nicely illustrates what I'm talking about when I say this is a serious business. This is not fun and games. It's not frolics. It's not jollies. It's not entertainment. It's a business. Okay. So we have 180,000 here. Which gives us 3,674,447, 850. So we made in the end 47,850, and we had to fight like crazy to make that money. When I do the edit on this one, I will double check everything, but as far as I can see, I've got it straight because I do write everything down in my faithful notebook here. But having had a couple of beers, of course, which I never do when I'm playing real money in real casinos in real time, I might have made a mistake. But I'm basing it on, let's see, 90,175 left over from the first shoe, 105,675 from the second shoe, 52,000 from the third, 20,000 from the fourth, and then over here we made 180,000. So to me that comes out as an average, a total of 447,850 with 400,000 due in markers. So that's 47,850. Long-winded, nasty, perfect illustration of what I've been talking about all these years. Um, I kind of enjoyed it actually. The challenge is fun. But I don't know. This one will have to be run through Excel at some point, and I can then tell you what the house advantage was for that run. It was crap. That I can assure you. Absolutely, it was crud. Um, but we got out of it. So next time. Yeah, I'm kicking this off with another look at number 8, which was the first nasty in this session. Some of them were challenging, but most of them were pretty straightforward. Sort of no high drama. But number 8 and number 43 were both, blah, I mean, major kind of stress. Except, of course, I wasn't stressed because I knew that pattern betting would turn me around. But boy, it did take some struggle. But what I forgot to mention the last time was talking about average wins and average losses. And I'm always banging on about the need to win more when you win than you lose when you lose, so that losing more often, which is what happens to you most of the time, doesn't doesn't steal your bankroll, doesn't empty your pockets, your wallet, your bank account, your if you succumb to ATM temptation, and everything that you own on this planet. Um, but here we have average win over average loss is 185%, which is pretty good, I think. So anyway, going down to the next one, note this, minus 21.3% house edge. We had to fight. It was tough. But now we've got the new one here, number 43, and we're looking at a win of 47,875. And I'm fully aware that that's too much. I mean, there was some cock up on my part where I overbet in the home stretch, probably. But whatever went before doesn't matter. I mean, you got your result finally. You got your turnaround. If you screwed up, then fine. Cheating, that's the one thing that I absolutely would not countenance. So I'm not cheating at any point, and you have the video, the bet by bet by bet by bet by bet to look at. And if there's anybody left in the pool of a dozen or so regular visitors to my channel out there who actually believes that there's something fake about the Wizard of Odds blackjack sim, or that I'm somehow manipulating it, well, I'm sorry. You're quite clearly brain damaged. It's just ridiculous. I mean, like here I faced 21.1% against me. In the previous one, it was 21.3% against me. And here, what did we do? We did, again, an average win of about 9,000, and again, an average loss of about 5,000, and an average win over average loss value of 166%. So, yeah, we were dealing with an edge against us of 21.1%. But if we can do this, 166%, then to hell with the house advantage. It just was, it's gone. It's lost. It's eliminated. It's counteracted. It's nullified. It's all that stuff. I'm sure you can think of much better words than me. But yeah, I did make occasional mistakes, and these red squares or red cells here indicate that. And, down the bottom here, 47,875, total action, 462,700. I love it, and yes, bloody hard work, stressful, but each time gets less stressful. It's like this thing that I do with horse racing, and I'm not making a big deal of that on the Practice Makes Profit channel, because it's a whole separate issue, and it's just not in the same world. I'm not dealing with casinos there. I'm dealing with reality. I'm dealing with verifiable facts, not something that comes out of a dealer's shoe, of a casino, across a casino table, but something that happens in the real world and which is recorded by any number of different organizations who do horse racing results. But I mean, I just had a situation where I was sliding into a deep six-figure hole, and then suddenly, bang, on the 10th, which is what is it now, the 12th? 13th? Is it the 13th today? Oh, it's the 12th. 2 days ago, bang, the whole lot turned around, And that's the way all these things go. But if you have a fixed strategy, which basically, except when somebody does something idiotic like I do from time to time, if it's fixed and reliable and steady and just applied in a sensible and consistent manner, then all the stuff that's whizzing around you, all the random nonsense, it just doesn't matter. It does matter. Yep, sorry. I mean, yes, it does matter in the sense that obviously this is what you're playing against, but the threat that seems to be posed by it will go away. And I'll give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Up on the other tab here is the automated version of what we did with number 8 and number 43. And you come down to the bottom here, the rollover from 8 to 43, and you can see, oops, we didn't wrap up here. But I always had complete confidence that eventually we'd get turned around. We got into horrendous trouble. We went to 192,375 in the hole, plus the 25,000 that we put on the table here, which, if lost, would have boosted the exposure. And then bang, 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 bang. And, we came out of that. And lots of you might say, well, okay, so you came out with a turnaround there, a turnaround win of 7,625. And to get there, you had to risk $212,000. Well, the point is that the difference between pattern betting or between progressive, sensible, capped, controlled, rational, restrained progressive betting, the difference between that and the way that you bet is that you lose, I win. It's that simple. But what happens, of course, is that patterns are what we're all about. And we went through this up here. God knows when I suffered through 9 consecutive losses up there. But we didn't get what we needed until all the way down here when suddenly boom, 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 boom. And it was a bit of a kind of a return to commonsensicalness. But what's happening here now is that this particular one at the end of number 43, again, we're in the hole because we needed one more win. Once you get to maximum bets, you need one more win to turn around. And I've got a little thing on the next tab down here which says, okay, let's have a look and see how often or how long it took each time to turn around. I'm looking for it now. 152 times, okay, up here, we turned around on 1 win. 38 times we turned around on 2 wins. 9 times it took us 3 wins. Only once did it take us 4 or more wins to turn around. Once you hit the table max, whatever it is, then you're going to need more consecutive wins to turn around. But you have to bet sensibly. You have to press. You have to exploit potential winning streaks. But you will never know that the first winning streak is the beginning of a winning. The first win is the beginning of a winning streak. You can't possibly know that. You don't have crystal balls. You can't possibly see into the future. But the one thing that's absolutely certain, and it's always true, every losing streak begins with a single loss. Every winning streak begins with a single win. Just like whoever it was who said, I don't know, a trek of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Well, that's Chinese, I wonder if they're still as clever as they used to be. They seem to be, don't they? They're making bloody good electric cars by all accounts. Anyway, and a lot of other stuff. But that's a whole other story. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is that as long as you've got a sensible approach, then you've got the 3-play thing which says, yes, you can lose 3 times in a row, and then you have to protect yourself. And you can protect yourself either by going into the drop zone and the first bet in the drop zone needs to be 1/5 of the down value, which is the hole you're in. So you go for 1/5, but if it's too much, then you just go for what you can. But just remember that if you screw up, you will have to sort yourself out eventually, or at least the pattern betting strategy will have to sort you out. But look after yourself after 3 consecutive losses. And occasionally I'll get people sort of saying to me, yeah, well, the casinos won't let you do that. They don't have any choice. They have no choice, because I don't care about particular shoes or particular dealers or particular games or particular situations or whatever. I know that if I'm backed off from a given play situation because they say, oh, we don't like what you're doing, what's the expression they love to use? You're too hard to beat, which is a sort of backhanded compliment in a way. It's something that they usually use for card counters, I think. But they they can do what they want. I'll just go somewhere else, which is what I always used to do when I lived in Nevada and when I played on a regular basis. I didn't usually get backed off. I did get backed off from blackjack at one casino, and I just moved over to baccarat and I kept beating them, and they just left me alone. I don't know, that made no sense to me at all. But, I like blackjack best of all because you've got those naturals popping up and paying you an extra 50%. And you've got double down opportunities, which generally speaking are favourable to you, the player. So I like blackjack most of all. I kind of like betting the field at craps if there's triple on the 12 and double on snake eyes, but you find that less and less these days. But if necessary, you can just cruise, go from one game to another, just one bet here and one bet there, and you just sort of bumble along until you get a turnaround, remembering that the martingale is the one that they always scorn, they scoff at, they mock, saying, yeah, well, you go to all that risk and then you only win 1 unit. And of course, they forget what you actually won was everything that you lost before plus 1 unit. But that's not good enough. I agree with that aspect of the whole thing. So this is why part of pattern betting is to keep topping up. As you move in from one level to the next, from 25s to 100s to 500s to thousands to 5,000s to 10,000s to whatever, you just keep rounding up, because you're not going to be like Vegas Matt and his crew where they're piddling around with dollar chips and $5 chips and 25s and hundreds and 500s and thousands all in a big heap and getting terribly confused. Sod that. It's ridiculous. But that's the way they play. And Vegas Matt just did another one of his little lectures at the end there, saying that they're not promoting gambling, and they're telling people that if you can't afford to lose, you shouldn't bet, and all the rest of it. And it's all absolute BS. It's self-serving nonsense, because of course he's promoting gambling, and he constantly says, "Oh, okay, well, we just lost 19,000, but we had fun, didn't we?" Time and again in his losing things, you'll say, "But we had fun, didn't we?" And this is the message that the casinos want to sort of hammer into your heads, sort of like a nail through your skull, bang, bang, bang. Yeah, losing is fun. Whoopee. Come along and have some fun. Give us all your money and love every minute of it. It's entertainment. Gambling is not entertainment. Gambling is jeopardy. Gambling is the loss of money that you could use more sensibly, more usefully, with more long-term benefit almost anywhere else, from the supermarket to the hospital to the college to the car payments to the mortgage to whatever, but the casinos want that money, and they don't care what you need it for. They want your money, and that's what it's all about. And yes, you'd be quite right to say, I don't like casinos. I do not. And I don't like the people who enable them. I don't like the people who pretend that gambling is a clean and honest business that provides well-paid work for hundreds of thousands of people across the USA and around the world, and it's wonderful and it's great for every economy. It is not. And there is all manner of research out there which demonstrates that wherever it is a major factor in any economy, gambling is damaging. So there you are. But anyway, I do get boring about that, I know. And I'm going to stop being boring and see you next time.